MotoGP at COTA never disappoints, and 2025 was no different. We had huge crashes, surprise performances, and a controversial decision by the FIM officials. Let's break down everything we learned from the American GP. Let's start with the race itself. Pecco Bagnaia returned to winning ways at COTA and enjoyed a hot dog in Part Ferme. Pecco looked solid and much more comfortable on the brakes, which is evident in his turn 12 overtakes on Alex Marquez. Perhaps now, Pecco and the GP25 Ducati have finally gelled. But let's not get distracted by Pecco enjoying a Frankfurter. We need to focus on the biggest talking point, and that is Marc Marquez crashing out of the lead. The 8-time world champion has conquered the Circuit of the Americas many times. 7 times as a matter of fact. But for the 3rd time in his career, he crashed out of the lead in COTA. And it wasn't just a bad look for Marc crashing out, it was detrimental to his championship lead. Letting 25 points slip away promoted Alex Marquez to leave Texas leading the World Championship. And another consistent performance from Alex has paid off, and each week he's proving that he's not just Marc's little brother, he's a genuine title threat. Marc's crash was drama, but how about the chaos that ensued before the race started? The rain had stopped and the track was drying. Some riders gambled for slicks and many didn't, until a certain World Championship leader sprinted off the grid and back to the pits, straight to jump on the dry factory Ducati. This caused mayhem as every rider still on wet tyres knew they had to swap bikes, many of them reacting to Marc's ploy immediately to follow suit. The race was then delayed because more than 10 riders left the grid, and somehow Maverick Vinales was left without a bike. Who took his KTM? But with all that drama, we're left with a huge talking point and a controversy surrounding the COTA race start. What do you guys think? Do you think the riders that have swapped tyres or bikes should have been penalised? Well, Davide Brivio certainly felt that way, and this is what he said. I'm very upset, to be honest. That's not the right way to manage the start, because we took a gamble, we took the right decision. When it was time to start, they, race direction, stopped everything. The riders that left the grid made the wrong choice, so why didn't they allow us to start with the right choice? Now everything has completely gone. We took a risk, we took a gamble, and we made the right decision, and now everything is gone, as he exclaimed in sheer disappointment. The chaotic race start certainly caused mayhem, and things didn't get better for Maverick Vinales. His race looked over before it even started. His bike was no longer there on the grid, but when he did finally get it back, the KTM lost power and had to start from the pit lane. Disaster for Batmav. But due to quite a few crashes ahead of him, he still managed to finish in the points, which is pretty impressive considering where he had to start. Speaking of KTM, COTA was a weekend to forget. We've spoken about Maverick already, but how did the others fare? Well, Pedro crashed, Brad's KTM ceased to be, it was nothing special, it was a dreadful American GP. But there is a bright spark. Enea Bastianini was once again the late race charger. He started 17th and finished 7th. Incredible late pace from Bastianini, as always. Solid result from the beast. But let's move across now to the Japanese manufacturers, starting with Honda. The factory HRC team qualified in the 3rd row and looked quite solid in the race. Sadly, Mir and LCR Honda rider Zarco didn't finish, but they were both in good strong positions, fighting for good points. Chantra was still learning and continuing to develop on the RC213V, but the good news came from Luca Marini, finishing in a very strong 8th place, and even had his elbows out during the race, which certainly looks pretty cool for entertainment value. From one side of Japan to another, it's time to look at the Iwata factory, which is Yamaha. Yamaha didn't have much to cheer about in COTA. Fabio certainly put up a fight in the sprint on Saturday after an electric start, but Sunday just didn't bode well for the Frenchman. He actually crashed on the sighting lap due to the mixed conditions, and therefore only had one bike to use in the race. Jack Miller, however, was once again the top man on the YZR M1, finishing in excellent 5th place. Again proving that Jack Miller has been the star in Yamaha this season. Alex Rins and Yamaha test rider Gusto Fernandez had quite the uneventful race, finishing 11th and 13th respectively, but nothing really to talk about from that side of the garage. Let's head over to Europe now and let's discuss the Italian bikes. Ducati had a great weekend as always. Pecco 1st, Alex Marquez 2nd, Fabio Di Gianantonio 3rd, and Frankie Morbidelli 4th. And it could have been Ducati 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if Fermin Aldeguer had stayed on the bike, because Fermín Aldeguer discovered some incredible late race pace, setting his personal best lap time on lap 17, which at the time was 0.7 of a second faster than your race leader Pecco Bagnaia. Wow, very impressive stuff. He was charging towards the end of the race, but unfortunately, as mentioned, he did crash out. But from Bologna to now Nawale, let's have a look at Aprilia. They took victory last year with Vinales, and it really looked like the bike to be on in the Circuit of the Americas. But sadly for the Aprilias, that was not the case. Each rider finished in the points, but highlights weren't plenty. Bezzecchi had a strong performance towards the end to finish 6th place, but the Trackhouse duo of Ayagura and Fernandez just struggled to occupy a top 10 finish. Agura did manage to hold on to 9th towards the end, but Raul and Martin's replacement rider Savadori didn't see much, didn't do much, and finished in the last few point positions. So that's what we learned from COTA. Crashes, surprises, and a championship that's still very much open. And that begs a question for Qatar. Is Alex Marquez going to lead the championship in Qatar? Is Marquez going to come back fighting diligently like we know he will? And has Pecco Bagnaia unlocked the true potential of the GP25 Ducati? But that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know your biggest takeaways from COTA. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in there for a chat. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Ciao for now.